Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Olajimoke Olatuju. In our major story, the federal government says tests have confirmed that the death of all students in Calabar was not a case of Ebola. Also in this package, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo charges Nigerians on unity. Senate's Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio again quizzed by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And outside Nigeria, Hungary closes border with Croatia to stem the tide of migrants crossing into Western Europe through its border. Thank you for joining us tonight. To begin the news, the federal government has declared that the students who died of suspected fresh case of Ebola virus disease in Calabar is free from pathogenic viruses. The government made this disclosure in a statement signed by Linus Awute, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health in Abuja. Awute says that all tests conducted to establish the actual cause of the student's death proved negative to all pathogenic viruses known to man. The ministry had earlier dispelled rumor of Ebola and also directed the Redeemers University African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Disease at Ede, Osun State, to confirm which virus caused the infection and death. According to him, the result shows that the disease is negative of pathogenic virus. He stated that the ministry has directed that the accident and emergency unit where the patient was admitted should remain closed throughout this weekend. He urged Nigerians to observe personal and environmental hygiene and keep reporting any suspected cases to the health institutions nearest to them. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on Nigerians to build bridges of unity, not minding religious, ethnic or political party affiliations for the survival of the country. Osinbajo gave this charge in his remark at the Thanksgiving service in honor of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babasha Lawal, of the Equa Church, Wuse, to Abuja. The Vice President extolled the virtues of simplicity and humanity of the SGF, describing him as a man who brought great sense of humor and simplicity to the State House. He said the APC represented the coming together of Christians and Muslims as well as the coming together of different tribes. Osinbajo says that God created everyone equal, not on the basis of religion or tribe, and he loves all in spite of one's faults and problems. Osinbajo says the Nigerians should be excited about the composition of those in government due to the high level of spirituality, noting that by honoring God, the SGF had drawn himself in office nearer to God. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima set May 29, 2016 as a deadline for the relocation and rehabilitation of millions of internally displaced persons in the state back to their homelands. The governor also disclosed there is an urgent need for the federal government to give Borno State more prominent attention over the two states of Adamawa and Yobe, which are equally affected by the Boko Haram insurgency. He noted that the rule of fairness dictates that Borno State be given more assistance than the two other states. And the former secretary to the government of the Federation, Olufalaye, has faulted the statements credited to the Department of State Services while parading two of the suspected kidnappers in Abuja that they are mere criminals looking for money for Salah and wedding. Falai, while receiving members of the Oodua People's Congress led by Gani Adams in his Obaile house in Akure, disclosed that the hoodlums were not after money alone, but aimed to kill him by shooting at his vehicle when they stormed his farm, thinking he was inside the car. The Fenifere leader, who used the occasion to further review what he went through in the hands of the adopters, stated what he considered his suffering in the hands of his kidnappers as a blessing until Yoruba people liberated from Fulani herdsmen attack. Now, the place of technology in the growth and development of nations in the 21st century cannot be overemphasized. It is Nigeria's aspires to its technological independence. The testing of a security device developed at Ekiti State University represents another step in the right direction. The developer says the multifunctional device is a game changer in addressing some of the security challenges facing the country and corruption. Rashid has more.
Whenever talk shifts to the status of nations of the world, Nigeria is always referred to as a developing nation because of its economic and technological dependence. But the tide may be changing with this breakthrough in the invention of an indigenous security device developed at the Ekiti State University. Dubbed Int Police, it's an integrated platform for the generation of national identification number, which can also be used by security agents in checking of crime and corruption.
Int Police that was developed equally works for loopholes, blockage, for corruption reduction. We equally have a support for security breaches containment and criminality acts reduction. It also provides for traffic offenses and violation reduction. What are we talking about? These are areas where advanced countries used to make money.
The inventor called on the federal government to deploy the device, which has been certified by the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology.
The president and those who are involved in economic matters is to embrace a technology like this to drive the economy of Nigeria, either in the area of security, in the area of economy. All that we have been talking about is what is called activity-based.
The internet-based electronic policing device covers diverse areas of application and has been activated for testing. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
For the second day, former Akwa Ibom State Governor Godswill Akpabio has returned to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for more interrogation. According to this day, Akpabio, who was allowed to go home at about 11 p.m. on Friday after the anti-graft agency's operators questioned him for about 5 hours, is said to have arrived to EFCC's corporate headquarters in Wuse to Abuja. He was again accompanied by his lawyer, Ricky Tafa, and some of his personal aides. The EFCC's head, Media and Publicity, Wilson, confirmed Akpabio's return to the commission on Saturday, but refused to speak further on the issue. Now, violence against women is no longer an individual problem but a nationwide menace. Over 90% of women are violated by their male counterparts, be it their fathers, brothers, uncles, husbands, or strangers. Victims of rape, generally of female children hawking on the streets in towns, cities, and villages, are often lured by predators or seized outrightly and taken into a room. Our correspondent Nato Labra has more on this report.
Poverty and lack of access to basic education are some of the contributory factors to the unwarranted defilement of underage girls. Hawking has become a cultural trait in many communities, whereby female children are given items to sell after school hours by desperate parents in a bid to boost family income. They could end up being lured into secret, quiet places or rooms and raped even by neighbors. Mirabel Center, a non-governmental organization for rape victims, Advocate says rape victims should seek justice, counseling and medical treatment immediately after the ordeal.
Yes, we find a high incidence of this happening. We find people who come in who have been children that were sent to go sell, and then they are hawking, and then somebody calls them to come into his house, and then he perpetrates rape on them. You cannot blame yourself for the action of another person, but if it happens, it is very important that you seek help. Seek help, get medical help.
Incidents of rape are not limited to children. Young women, married or single, can be victims. They experience sexual, physical and psychological violence like anyone else. When they are sexually violated, they cannot complain. They're scared, and so most times the rape incidents go unreported to security agencies.
To his house and then forced me so many things that I don't wanted to do. And before I raised an alarm, after everything, people gathered and the police had to intervene.
A lot of stigmatization surrounds the issue of rape. There is the fear of being blamed, the fear of not being believed. So that is what, in most cases, makes people not come out to talk about rape when it has happened, because they fear that they might not be believed, they might be blamed for what has happened. So why go out to be blamed? You have been victimized.
Some men believe having sexual intercourse with underage girls cure the dreaded HIV/AIDS disease, while some defile these girls for ritual purposes in order to get rich quickly.
No, there is no scientific or backing whatsoever for that. It's a myth, and it should be discarded because it's just an excuse to perpetrate rape.
Just because of the fear of stigmatization, they are scared to actually come out and share their experience with people, because they believe that people are just going to be, look at this person was raped. So we should change our perception. We should be able to accept whoever must have gone through any kind of situation. We should be able to accept them and try to help them to pass through that horrid experience.
Many young men rape children, mothers and even grandmothers who are between 70 and 80 years, and such have become rampant in recent years. As a society lost its moral bearing because of materialism, it is hoped that this unscrupulous act will be reduced drastically.
The Federal Road Safety Commission in Otago State says one person died while 6 others injured sustained various degrees of injury in an accident involving a petrol tanker and 4 vehicles at a Wadi Junction on Saturday. The unit commander of FRSC, Laye Adegboyega, told newsmen in Otago that the accident occurred around 5:30 a.m. due to the carelessness of the tanker driver. According to him, a loaded petrol tanker coming from Lagos and heading to Abeokuta lost control and rammed into 4 vehicles, bursting into flames immediately. He added that the fire from the tanker spread to the neighboring houses and property worth millions of naira was lost in the inferno. Adekwega says that the driver of the tanker, Wale Olaito, lost his life, while 6 others, including 4 male and 2 female, sustained various degrees of injuries. He appealed to the federal, Lagos and Enugu state government to overhaul the Owodo Road to prevent a recurrence of such incidents in order to save lives and property. Now we'll take a quick break. I'll be back with more stories. Please don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water and nudity.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, another election is coming.
Also, some people will stand for Yoruba land. We'll be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few,
Corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. If you're just joining us, this is still CoreTV Primetime News. A quick reminder of our major stories. The federal government says tests has confirmed that the death of students in Calabar was not a case of Ebola. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo charges Nigerians on unity. Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio again pushed by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And for more on news and other programs, please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can follow us on Twitter, CoreTV News NG. Also visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CoreTV the news. The Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has urged the people of the state for support as he continues his quest to make change a reality in the state. Now, according to El-Rufai, his government will not be daunted in its bid to bring long-lasting solution to the developmental challenges facing the state. The governor, who spoke in House at the 4th edition of the town hall meeting by the All Progressives Congress in the state, also promised to fight corruption to its standstill.
Ilmi da lafiya su ne babban kyautar da za ka yi matalaka. Idan muka tabbatar cewa makarantu sun gyaru da karanta, ba sai ya sai ma dan shi uniform ba sai ya sai ma dan shi littattafai ba sai ya ba dan shi kudin abinci ba, mun rage mishi nauyi. To abinda wannan gwamnatin take so ta yi kenan a ilimi na primary da junior secondary school. Mun dauki duk asibitocin jihar nan a hankali za mu rika gyara su yadda kowane mutum ba zai iya tafiyan fiye da kilomita 5 ba kafin ya samu asibiti wanda duk rashin lafiyar shi za a iya dubawa in ya fi karfin wannan asibitin a je na gaba. Nan da shekara daya mutanen jihar Kaduna za su ga sauki. Alhamdulillah, ina ganin wannan taro da muke kowane wata, wannan shine na 4, ya nuna cewa mutane suna fahimta wanda yana taimaka ma gwamnati sosai kuma wannan abu ne.
Now, still in Kaduna State, the State Governorship Election Tribunal on Thursday upheld the election of the Governor Nasir El-Rufai of the All Progressives Congress. It dismissed the position filed by the All Progressives Grand Alliance candidate Polycarp Danladi on the grounds that it lacked merit. Delivering the judgment would lasted more than 7 hours. The tribunal chairman, Justice Adebayo Adebara, said the counsel to the petitioner failed to prove his case. Amina Nebi has this report presented from our studios.
Supporters of Governor Nasir El-Rufai and the petitioner Polycarp Danladi of Abga had waited anxiously for the tribunal to deliver a ruling. The session was initially billed to begin at 8 a.m, but it did not begin until 2 p.m. Officials of the Kaduna government gave an insight into efforts they had put in place for a peaceful atmosphere.
We have seen the process, we understand the process, and we are happy with the process. And this is a vindication of what the people of Kaduna State voted for. They wanted Nasir El-Rufai, and they got him, and the court has confirmed it now. The process of the tribunal did not hamper us in any way. We have been on the ground, we will remain on the ground, and we will make sure we fulfill all the promises we have made to the people of Kaduna State.
After the ruling, which lasted about 6 hours, lawyers from the two sides had their say on the tribunal's decision.
Judgment is a dividend of democracy. Our democracy is not only being tested in the field, it has been tested and confirmed in the courtroom. Well, you can see from the nature of the proceedings, we had initially even wanted to terminate the petition from the beginning. So, from the onset, we were never afraid. The governor was at peace, and we knew from the beginning that this is what the judgment will be.
First of all, I must concede it was a very researched judgment. It was based on the tribunal's perception of the issues before it and the evidence before it. Obviously, we will always have issues with a judgment like this. We witnessed there was a cancellation of almost 200,000 votes, over 200,000 votes in 7 local governments. You can imagine what that says for the whole election process.
The three-man panel had claimed that the petitioner had not provided enough evidence to prove his allegations of electoral malpractice and irregularity. And although the tribunal didn't grant the APGA candidate's plea to nullify the election because of exclusion and falsification of election results, it cancelled results in some wards of the 7 contentious council areas. The coalition of southern socio-political groups in Ondo State has advocated for a special consideration to produce the next governor of the state from the area in the next year's governorship election. The Southern District had recorded huge successes for the People's Democratic Party in all the elections held in the area since 1999, and the new agitation is that now is the payback time for the party. The coordinator of CSSG, Adewumi Adebisi, argued that there is need to put an end to the socio-political imbalance and deliberate marginalization of the southern senatorial districts. The group, which is an umbrella body of all the socio-political groups in the area, claimed the 2016 election in Ondo State must redress the anomalies by ensuring that a governor of the southern extraction takes the reins of next government. He added that the zone is endowed with a pool of seasoned technocrats, astute administrators, political savvy and development-oriented individuals needed in the state. The coordinator stated that the group is rooting for the sustenance of democratic values, maintained that to preserve the impressive legacies of past governments. A rainstorm which lasted several hours on Friday night has rendered over 60 farmers homeless and damaged property worth millions of naira in Ilorin Eastern National local government areas of Kwara State. The special advisor to Governor of the Fatah Ahmed on Emergency and Relief Services, Abdullahi Duro Mohammed, disclosed this in Ilorin shortly after inspecting the affected areas in the 2 councils. Added 43 residents, including aged and pregnant women, were affected in the Ilorin East local government area, while the remaining victims are from Asa local government area. The affected communities in the Ilorin East include Adanba, Okelele and Kantakatu, while communities affected in Asa local government areas are Pasa and Orongbagba. The victims in the 2 local government areas are now refugees in mosque, public schools in the areas and neighbors not affected by the rainstorm. Duro Mohammed said the visit is at the instance of the state governor who had promised to provide succor for the victims. Speaking on behalf of those affected, the former chairman of Maro local government area, Shuaib Babajimo, commended the prompt response of the state government to the plight of the victims. In the light of dwindling financial resources and inability of government to pay salaries, the fear of whether state governors will be able to fulfill their electoral promises has become a growing concern in the country. Our correspondent spoke with a member of the Igbo State House of Assembly on the state's free education program.
News in Owerri disclosed the challenges and how they are being tackled.
Initially, it wasn't easy for us to embark on this free education because teachers have already engaged themselves in petty training, even in the classroom, because they were not paid, no salary. The first thing His Excellency did was to make sure every 20 to 22nd of every month, salaries are paid.
According to her, the teachers enjoy prompt payment of salaries and the students, on their part, win laurels each time they represent the state in any competition, either locally or internationally.
Teaching is now very enjoyable. Teaching profession is very enjoyable. So they don't want to miss it. And when you say, I will sack you, if you don't drop this, I will sack you, they'll drop it.
The issue of vandalism of government properties is another challenge the authority is concerned about.
Now, vandalization, my dear, is an appalling situation. I was asking them, why do you allow these beautiful, magnificent buildings to be vandalized? Because they were not involved. The governor spent his money, carried it, come and put it in the front of your house. They don't know the value.
She, however, called on every community to be mindful of government projects in their place and protect them.
And staff of tertiary institutions in Kwara State have declared an indefinite strike following the non-payment of 6-month salary raise by the state government. Addressing journalists after an emergency meeting with their members, the state chairman of Committee of Unions and Tertiary Institutions, Abdul Karim Kanike, noted that several efforts made to let government see reasons fell on deaf ears, while the government on its part urged the unions to utilize their internal generated revenue to offset the arrears, as the dwindling revenue could not make it to meet its obligations. Rashid has more.
Members of the Committee of Union in Tertiary Institutions, comprising 5 institutions in Kwara, have been at loggerheads with the state government for the past 3 months over the non-payment of salary arrears. Briefing their members on the effort made so far, the state chairman of the committee, Abdul Karim Kanike, informed them that all efforts made for government to pay their 6-month salaries arrears did not yield fruitful results. Addressing journalists, the committee says it has no option than to declare indefinite strike starting from Monday, having exhausted all peaceful means.
Today, we have all agreed. Our people has given us a mandate. And that mandate we took to the meeting we had with the permanent secretary yesterday and all the management of the tertiary institution. Our entitlement of 6 months salary should be paid at the expiration of 14th October 2015. And with the government position as of yesterday that the reality is they don't have money. Our people has given us a mandate from Oro to Lafiaji to Ilori to Kais. That if the reality with the government is that they don't have the money, then the reality to them is that they can no longer work without payment. So therefore, we have assembled here, we have evaluated that mandate, and the reason is, the decision is we are going on industrial action.
Reacting, government spokesperson Muhyiddin Akorede agreed that the government is owing, but not up to 6 months. He blamed the situation on fall in revenue from the Federation account and urged the higher institutions to make judicious use of internally generated revenue to pay salaries.
And as I speak to you, government officials are working around the clock to try to raise the funds to pay subventions to the tertiary institutions, all parastatals, including tertiary institutions. So it's unfortunate that they have chosen not to recognize the government's efforts to solve this problem, knowing that this is a national problem. It's not limited to Kwara State. Secondly, those institutions are revenue generating. They generate funds, and it is government's expectation that they should be able to use the funds so generated to pay their workers and suspend any infrastructural projects pending the resolution of this financial crisis.
As both the unions and governments took their respective stands, it is hoped that the issue will be settled soon to guard against total collapse of higher education in the state. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
Another quick break. I'll be back with stories from the world of business, sports, and outside Nigeria. Please stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I say to hell
on Core Digest.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has the right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, Click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
The 21st edition of the Nigerian Economic Summit came to an end yesterday with recommendations to the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to work towards a more inclusive growth as well as address the dilemma of insecurity across the country to allow for economic empowerment of Nigerians. The summit equally called for the implementation of the Onrosaye report, which had sought to institute performance management system with new appraisal metrics to track, measure and reward performance. It further stressed the need to re-engineer MDAS business processes to remodel the bureaucratic system and its red tape and bottlenecks. It also called for a competency-based human resource function founded on a robust performance management system, flexible employment policy and compensation structure to restore government as employers of choice. The National Automotive Design and Development Council suspended issuing licenses to new vehicle assembly plants except for direct investment by those who actually built vehicles, known as original equipment manufacturers. This is contained in a statement signed by the Director General MDDCC, Aminu Jalal, who explained the applicants and process would not be affected. This is to enable Council to consolidate the vehicle assembly operations and concentrate on developing local content. According to the Director General, the major objective of the National Automotive Industry Development Plan was to bring back completely knocked down automotive assembly and to develop local content. Now, for the first time, Sokoto's 2016 budget will get input from community leaders and the generality of the people at the grassroots level in the 23 local government areas of the state. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambo has said the governor disclosed this on Saturday in Sokoto when he addressed members of the All Progressives Congress drawn from all parts of the state. Tambo also promised to complete all the projects he had inherited from his predecessor, Senator Leo Wamako. The governor further stated that his administration plans to initiate new projects, programs, and policies to sustain the current tempo of the state's government. Now, for stories outside Nigeria, 2 young children are reported to have been raped in the Indian capital of Delhi, drawing strong criticisms from the city's chief minister. Arvind Kejriwal accused the government and police of not doing enough to protect minors in the city. The latest attacks comes after a 4-year-old girl was allegedly raped in Delhi last week. 2 years ago, India tightened its laws on sexual violence after the brutal gang rape of mother of a student. Kejriwal criticized Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung for failing to provide adequate safety and security in the city. Now, migrants have begun arriving in Slovenia but bus from Croatia after Hungary shut its border for Croatia to try to stem the numbers arriving en route to Western Europe. Hungary closed its Croatia frontier on Friday, and now says it will reintroduce controls on the Slovenian border. Many of the migrants aim to continue north to Austria and Germany, and nearly 600,000 migrants have reached the EU by sea so far this year. Many traveling from Turkey to Greece, however, more than 3,000 have perished trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea. Many migrants are also Syrians fleeing the civil conflict there. Hungary said it shut the border with Croatia after European Union leaders failed to agree its plan to send a force to prevent migrants reaching Greece. Now, a U.S. jury has ordered technology giant Apple to pay more than $234 million in damages for patent infringement. The Wisconsin Aluminum Research Foundation, the patent licensing arm of the University of Madison, said the verdict was important to guard its inventions from unauthorized use. The jury had earlier decided that Apple incorporated patented microchip technology into some iPhones and iPads without permission. Apple, however, said it would appeal, declining to comment further. The amount was less than the foundation had claimed. It had originally sought as much as $862 million. University of Wisconsin-Madison computer sciences professor Gurinder Sohi, one of the inventors of the microchip technology designed to boost the performance of computer processors, was in the federal court in Madison, Wisconsin for the decision. And now for some sports stories.
Our style, that's what he delivered. with a flying lead.
Taking them out in the lead.
President Muhammadu Buhari has extended his best wishes for a triumphant outing to the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria. The team is in Chile to participate in this year's Under-17 FIFA World Cup tournament, scheduled to start with a match against the United States of America. President Buhari, in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, urged the Golden Eaglets to do their utmost best to match the outstanding performance of the victorious predecessors who have won the competition 4 times, including the inaugural edition in 1985 and the last tournament in 2013. He assured them and their handlers of the full support of the federal government and all Nigerians as they strive to bring more sport and glory to their fatherland by outplaying all their opponents in Chile and winning the Under-17 World Cup for a record 50th time. The president called on the players to stay focused, avoid all distractions, and put their globally acknowledged skills, ability, and doggedness on display against USA, Chile on October 20th, Croatia on October 23rd, and in all their subsequent matches to win the tournament and give millions of soccer-loving Nigerians the perfect end of the year gift. Cristiano Ronaldo overtook Raul as Real Madrid's record scorer when he found the net with a trademark long-reach Peter River in Madrid's La Liga victory at home to 11 for his 324th goal for the Spanish club. The Portugal captain collected the ball around 5 meters outside the penalty area in the 30th minute of the game at Real's Bernabeu Stadium before taking a couple of steps and then smashing a shot into the net to put Real 2-0 ahead. Ronaldo, 30, needed a mere 310 matches across 7 seasons to overtake Raul's tally of 323 goals in less than 741 games over 16 years. Alfredo Di Stefano is the only all-Real player to get past the 300 mark, netting 308 goals in 396 matches over 11 seasons. Now, when Rooney was on the score sheet as Manchester United beat Everton 3-0 at Goodison Park, United bounced back from defeat at Arsenal before the international break as Everton suffered their first defeat since August 23rd. Morgan opened the scoring on 18 minutes, slotting into the far corner from Chris Smalling's chest down, and Ander Herrera headed home a second soon afterwards from a Marcus Rogers cross. David Degger had to make a good save to deny Romelu Lukaku early in the second half, but United extended their lead with 62 minutes played when Rooney netted against his former club. The England captain produced a clinical finish from Herrera's third ball for his first away goal in the Premier League since November, and his first at Goodison Park since April 2007 to complete the scoring. The goal also saw Rooney draw level with former United striker Andy Cole as the second highest scorer in Premier League history. Now, Chelsea ended their run of 3 games without a victory as Jose Mourinho turned the spotlight onto his Aston Villa counterpart Tim Sherwood with a 2-0 win at Stamford Bridge. The Blues went into the game searching for a first win since beating Walsall 4-1 and the Capital One Cup on September 23rd from their 3-1 defeat to Southampton before the international break. They were given a significant helping hand for the opening goal in 34 minutes, with Villa keeper Brad Guzan playing a reckless ball out to Jalen Lescott, who failed to control the pass and allowed Willian to burst through before setting up Diego Costa for the simplest of finishes. They were further boosted as the start of the second half when Alan Houghton deflected the ball into his own net from Diego Costa's pass to give Chelsea a much-needed win.
Астон Вілла, дивимося, Бред Гузан віддає, і тут невдалі дії з боку Джолана Лескота. Вихід 2.
Now, Raheem Sterling scored a hat-trick as Premier League leaders Manchester City eased past Bournemouth 5-1. City took the early lead against the run of play with Sterling netting from close range in 7 minutes after Wilfred Bonny helped on a Kevin De Bruyne knockdown. Bonny then added his own name to the score sheet 4 minutes later after Bournemouth keeper Adam Federich had failed to hold a cross. Although the Cherries soon reduced the errors through Glenn Moran, City restored their 2-goal chasing soon afterwards as Sterling added his second of the game, showing superb composure before slotting home, and he had his third just before the break as he sent a shot past Federich at the near post. City then increased their advantage late on when Bonny added his second of the game with a neat turn and finish. Meanwhile, Arsenal had to wait until the second half, but eventually sealed a comfortable 3-0 win at Watford. Watford had some good chances early on, but Petr Cech was equal to them, and Alexis Sanchez brought the deadlock with a strike in the 62nd minute after good work from Mesut Ozil saw the ball fall kindly to him. Ozil then put the ball on plate for substitute Oliver Giroud to slot home after 5 minutes later, and Aaron Ramsey's efforts made it 3-0 in the 74th minute. But that's it a wrap on CoreTV Primetime News. But before we go, a quick reminder of a major story. The federal government says tests have confirmed the death of a student in Calabar was not a case of Ebola. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo charges Nigerians on unity. Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio again quizzed by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And finally, Hungary closes border with Croatia to stem the tide of migrants crossing into Western Europe through its border. Many thanks for staying through with us. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. You do have a wonderful night rest.